Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my Stash Down Diaries, February 2025 edition. So it was a good month. I got a lot of stuff out of my stash. March is not going to look so good, but February was fantastic. I was really happy with my progress. So this past month, and I'm very late getting this episode out. It's the 18th, 19th? It's like the 19th of March. I'm just getting the February one. But I was out of town for a week, so. Anyway, so grand total, I had 4 finished objects that were completely finished or had a finish time in February 2025. So the first one were my 2 at a time toe up Sorta Shorty socks. Those were the green ones. I'm gonna just put a picture of most of them, hopefully, up there. 2 of the projects, I don't know where they are. They've been tucked away, and 2 of them have been given away. So 2 of them are not even in my house anymore. But those 2 I'll definitely have a picture of. The other 2, I have to check and see if I actually have pictures taken of those yet. Oh, good grief. So anyways, the first thing I finished this month were my 2 at a time toe up Sorta Shorty socks. And those were the green ones. I cast those on the 5th of January. So they were on the needles for a while. They were finished. I bound them off on the 2nd of February. So they were on the needles for almost a month, which was quite a long time. And so for those, I used 50 grams of yarn. I don't count it. They had contrasting heels, toes, and a little pop, no, nothing at the cuff. They just had the heels and toes in bare yarn. But I start with 100 grams skein of yarn, and then once I finally use up the whole thing, I will subtract 100 grams when the entire skein is used up, as opposed to weighing that skein over 5, 6, however many pair of socks that I do. It's easier just to count it as 100 grams when it's done. So the bare yarn doesn't get counted. Typically, that's the way it works for me. So that's 50 grams gone. Then I finished off 2 granny square blankies. Both of them have been given away, and I've actually finished 3. One was finished early, quite a bit earlier. The other 2 I actually started and finished in February. So I was impressed with my progress on that. So the first granny square blanket, I started it on the 1st of February and finished it on the 9th of February. So zip that up pretty quick, and I used 660 grams of yarn on that one. So I used almost a full 4 skeins of, I think it was a Red Heart Super Saver. I had 4 in the same colorway. So I used 4 skeins. Each of the skeins were 170. One of them was there's 20 grams left. I didn't have enough to go all the way around one more time. So I called it quits after the 150 grams. So there are 4 skeins of yarn less a 20 gram ball left. So 660 grams gone with that. Blankies, crochet blankies eat a ton of yarn. So I'm motivated to hunt through my tubs and make more. I do want to make 3 more blankies for my friend, for her 3 little girls, so that they have a regular bed size blanket that they can start. So I'm going to get started on those. Either I will put them aside and save them to give to my friend eventually, or I'll give them away to charity something. So that's that. Then I made a second granny square blanket in February. Began that on February 9th, so didn't even let the hook cool off from the previous one before I started the next one. So I started that February 9th and finished it February 20th. And that one I had a whole bunch of little 50-gram balls of some things I don't put away, other things I do. There's a whole bunch that were made with this kind of yarn. I bought a whole boatload at a discount store when we lived in Maine, and I had a bunch of them that were in similar colors and I figured would work well together. So, and I lost count of how many there were because they were 50 grams. So there was a lot. There was a lot. So I kept track of them when I was, as I was doing them, but I used 722 grams on that one. So the last skein again I had, not a full skein was used. I didn't have enough to go around one more time. So it was 722 grams. So you can see why I want to make more of these blankies, because they eat up yarn like no tomorrow. And crochet, I find crochet works up pretty quick. So you can see I made 2 baby blankets in the first 20 days of February. So that's works up pretty quick. Then my fourth finished object for February was the qualifying round pair of socks for Sock Madness 19. So these were, I don't remember the name of them. Picture. So you can see what they look like. They, I started them around the 15th or 16th of February, and they were finished before the end of February. I didn't write down the dates on that. I have it written down on my computer, but not on my notes. Anyway, so for those, I used 72 grams. So I used a total, got out of my stash, a total of 1,504 grams. Where's the cheering? I need like that sound effect. Yay! I've had too much caffeine today. Clearly I have had too much caffeine today. But anyway, I used 1,504 grams of yarn out of my stash. And I was well behaved, and I only had 100 grams come in. So my February 2025 Row 1 mini subscription came in beginning of February. So, but that was the only yarn that came in. I did dye up several skeins of yarn this month, or in February, but all of those skeins of yarn had been in my stash, had already been counted into stash in last year sometime, whenever it was that I actually purchased them. So when I bought a whole 20 skeins of yarn from a yarn supplier, I counted the entire, I added all those points onto my stash score last year when they came into my stash. So once I've dyed them, all I've done is dye them. They've already been counted into my stash. But I'll eventually start using some of those. I did use the green already for the qualifying round socks. So 1,504 grams out, 100 grams in. So I got rid of, I used, so that my grand total for the month is 1,404 grams of yarn out in February. And last month I had a total of, I think my grand total was 179 grams out last month. So this March is also going to be a lower month unless I get a lot done on a crochet blanket between Sock Madness rounds. But right now my score's not looking like it's not near as good for March as it was. So I've used the equivalent of 14 skeins of yarn, 100 gram skeins of yarn out of my stash this month. The equivalent of. So I'm really happy with that. As I said, March is not going to be as dramatic a month. February was really, really a good month for Stash Down, which is why I want to get another crochet blankie started. I have a pair of socks I'm working on right now that I want to finish before the next round of Sock Madness starts. So I probably won't get started on that right now, but soon. I hope soon. And I'm also looking at other charity crochet or knitting options for how to use up my yarn. So that's the plans. So really happy with that. Really happy with my Stash Down Diaries for February, for episode 2. So I'm going to get the editing on this done. I'm going to get it uploaded for you guys and get back to knitting so that I can have, hopefully, I should be able to have a negative score this month, but it's not going to be a big negative score. Oh well, that's fine. It's all fine. Anyway, so I'm going to get going and I will see you guys again very soon. Take care now.